afternoon and welcome to today's presentation, Microsoft Dynamics CRM Integration Made Easy by Scribe Software. My name is Robin Dupree and I'm the Director of Sales here in the U.S. and I'll be joined today by Pierre Housekeeping, our Senior Pre-Sales Technical Engineer. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping issues. I want to make sure that everyone is dialed in on the phone or using voice over IP. We do have voice over IP enabled for today's call. If you are having difficulty with voice over IP, please go ahead and use the dial-in details that you'll find in the GoToWebinar panel on the right-hand screen of your screen. Our phone lines are presently muted. We will keep the lines muted throughout the duration of our call. And we'll take Q&A at the end of the session. We'll be handling the Q&A through the questions feature in that GoToWebinar panel. So if you have questions as we're presenting, go ahead and type them in. We'll read them out at the end of the session and answer them in turn. Our agenda for today will give you a quick introduction to Scribe, the company, and our offerings. Talk a little bit about the trends in CRM data integration trends that we've seen with some of our own reports and industry trends, and then talk about integration specifically as it pertains to some of the use cases we most commonly see in the realm of Microsoft Dynamics CRM. We'll give you a demonstration of one of our products, the Scribe Online Integration Platform, and then allow for Q&A at the end. All totals will probably go about a half an hour today, including questions and answers. For those of you not familiar with Scribe software, we are an established global provider of solutions that easily bring customer data anywhere that it's needed, whether your systems are cloud-based, on-premise, or a combination of the two. We call that a hybrid integration scenario. We were established in 1996 and brought our first product to market in 1997. We're headquartered here in Manchester, New Hampshire, and have operations in Den Haag, the Netherlands as well. We are and have been a leader in major application integration areas like Microsoft Dynamics, SalesLogic, Salesforce, in all this time. And we've amassed since 1996 over 15,000 customers, and we go to market through a partner network, a pretty extensive partner network of over 1,200 partners. We've evolved in the last several years to step past just CRM integration to look at all the other customer-facing systems that our customers and partners integrate with, and really have broadened our offerings. So now we're really talking about being the leading provider of customer data integration, not only through our traditional reseller network, but also our expanding ISV network, including the marketing automation leaders, ExactTarget, Marketo, SilverPop, working with On24, Znode in e-commerce, and Financial Force for ERP. And this is a network we'll talk about as we go out throughout the presentation today about expanded offerings as well. Both of our offerings are Scribe Insight. It's our on-premise software-based integration, enterprise-ready, really intended for that CRM ERP integration that we see so often, and the Scribe Online platform, a real innovative cloud-based platform that offers two different services, the Scribe Online Replication Service and the Integration Service. For the purposes of today's demonstration, we'll be focusing on the Scribe Online Integration Service platform. Both of our platforms are easy to use. They provide an intuitive user interface that allows customers and partners alike to configure integrations without writing a single line of code. So integration in general, let's just talk about integration for a few minutes to set the stage, specifically as it comes to these customer-facing systems. Here at Scribe, we have an annual survey called the State of Data Integration. This year, State of Data Integration 2013, we had over 900 respondents, a 200% increase over previous years. So really a good sampling of both end users, resellers, ISVs. So a sampling across the community about integration within their organizations, the value of those integrations as they perceive them, and then the level of integration that they've achieved. As you can see, no surprise that there's a pretty high value placed on data integration to be able to operate efficiently and to leverage that data that you collect in those customer-facing systems, whether it's for BI and analytics, to have streamlined marketing and sales approach, to streamline a sales order process. Whatever the use case, you can see a pretty high value placed on data integration. Some 74, 73, 71%. 71% of those respondents placed a high value on CRM and marketing automation integration specifically. However, when we talk about high value, interesting contrast is that a very low percentage, on average 16% of those companies reported being fully integrated. So there's a variety of reasons for that. I think those projects often tend to be larger than expect. Sometimes folks just never get to that stage of the project, but it's important to their business for a variety of demonstrable business reasons, and yet only a small number of them, 16% or so, actually consider themselves fully integrated. Because we go to market through a channel of partners who have great experience not only in those end user applications but in the data integration space as well, the numbers get better. A 50% greater rate of those customers working with a channel partner report being fully integrated, and then, of course, appreciate the benefits that that integration can bring to them. What are some of those benefits? Well, at the very most basic level, we often talk about user adoption. If you're going to make an investment in a new system, whether it's a CRM system, Microsoft Dynamics CRM, or a marketing automation system, or an ERP system, the ROI on that system hinges entirely on the adoption by those end users. And if the data, the customer data that those end users so critically need to do their jobs is not in the system that you've given them to use, they're less likely to adopt that system, and you're not likely to get to your ROI. So having all of the data that your customers need at their fingertips in their systems that they use to do their jobs is critically important, not only to be efficient and operate more efficiently, but to really drive user adoption and ROI of those applications. Connecting your department's applications and all of that data together and streamlining your processes also will make you more competitive in the marketplace. Imagine spending all the money that you spend on marketing and developing all of those leads in the marketing department and not getting those leads with that quality information in the hands of the salespeople to follow up and close. How likely are we to replicate that marketing budget if we can't show the return on that investment? So really connecting all of these dots to provide a turnkey integrated system makes you much more competitive in the marketplace and makes you operate much more efficiently. As a result, of course, you're going to have improved customer satisfaction. When customers call your company, they're able to speak with someone who's knowledgeable and has everything at their fingertips to provide the best possible customer experience. At the end of the day, all of these benefits, of course, impact the bottom line. We'll be able to improve processes, operate more efficiently, save hard dollars in extra staff that you don't require for manual data entry, save soft dollars by improving operational effectiveness, driving revenue, and improving ROI. What are some of the common dynamic CRM integration challenges that we see in the marketplace? Very commonly, converting one opportunities to orders and invoices automatically into the back office. Here at Scribe, we use this exact scenario. When I first joined the company 8 years ago, we were a very small company and did not have the benefit of some of these best-of-breed systems. As we grew and implemented them, we were able to use our own technologies to integrate those processes. And now our sales team, when they receive a lead from our marketing department and their marketing automation system, they're able to work that lead to closure. When they close that opportunity and submit that order, all of these integrations take place at the same time with that single submission of an order. It's sent off to the finance system for invoicing. It's sent to the customer support system for case management. Also generates a serial number, which is automatically sent to the customer, and updates the CRM system. The fact that all of that has happened creates an asset and updates the fact that it's been submitted, all with a single point of entry by that salesperson submitting that order. We estimate that we save over $150,000 a year in hard costs alone simply by not having sort of three bodies that require to do all of that manual processing around that workflow. Synchronizing product catalog data and financial applications like GP or QuickBooks Desktop and Oracle into your Microsoft Dynamics CRM. It's important to keep those product catalogs up to date in the hands of the sellers. Capturing and sharing webinar lead information, we talked about that a little bit earlier. Marketing is generating leads and nurturing leads and bringing that information into your CRM system so the folks who are on the front lines have access to that information and can work with those folks accordingly. And really being able to tie then marketing dollars spent back to opportunities that are closed and getting those analytics to share between those systems, giving you a full picture of the life cycle of a lead to a closed opportunity. When we talk about using marketing automation systems and scoring those leads as they move through the nurture process, what value is it to do that if we don't have a mechanism for bringing that data again into the hands of the sellers when milestones happen in that nurture process that make it the right time as defined by your marketing organization for those sales folks to step into the process. At the end of the day, what it really boils down to is knowing your customer and collecting all of this information from a variety of customer-facing systems and having the opportunity for bidirectional integration into your central hub, Microsoft Dynamics CRM, with a variety of ISV applications. Here we have a sampling, Microsoft Dynamics GP, the marketing automation folks for Marketo, ExactTarget, BuilderPop, QuickBooks and Financial Force with GP on the ERP side, GoToWebinar, On24. This list continues to expand. We'll talk about our Scribe Online platform. We'll talk a little bit more about the fact that we have not only the opportunity to expand by bringing connectors to market ourselves, but to allow our partner community, the ISV community, and customers alike to build out connectors on the platform. As we write today, there are 18 connectors available. The Scribe Online platform, that list will be at least doubled next year. It continues to grow. So for a customer to standardize on a single platform, that it will allow them to integrate all of their customer-facing systems and to do it in an intuitive user interface, this is your best investment. So why Scribe for your dynamic CRM integration? Time to value. These integrations with the user interface and the templates that we've pre-built take days and weeks to implement, not months. So we're able to, out of the gate, allow you to achieve some ROI early and then allow you to plan for next steps and roll out. Most of our customers come to us with a particular point-to-point integration requirement. And when we talk about other applications out in the industry, ISV applications, many have built-in point-to-point integration. What happens, of course, 9 times out of 10 when customers roll out either those built-in point-to-point integrations or even Scribe for a point-to-point integration, as they move through that project, they inevitably find additional requirements. So that one integration becomes 2, becomes 3, becomes 4 integrations. And having one platform that will scale as your business and your systems change and allows you to rapidly change course and add integrations is of very high value. Mentioned, the built-in integration, point integration scenarios that come with ISV applications will work out of the box for exactly what they do. And again, most times, most customers, even the smallest customers, have some custom requirements, and it really does require to be nimble and have a platform that allows you to be nimble. So simplicity, that's the other benefit of one solution for all of your integration needs. Why have multiple integration scenarios? Have one solution, have your staff trained up and ready, and have the ability to address growing requirements as they arise. Flexibility, add those applications and data sources easily with clicks and in this configurable interface without having to write any code. Predictability, a predictable monthly cost. Scribe Online is a subscription based on an annual contract, the volume of data that you will process. So this is a contract that you will select and use, and it will be the same cost every month. If your usage looks like it is to be outgrowing your contract, we'll be in touch with you and we'll work to up-level you to a new contract, but it's not like you'll be getting a bill out of the blue if you've gone over. So we get to talk about how you grow your usage of our platform in accordance with your business. And proven success. we've been doing this since 1996. CRM is in our DNA. We have expanded successfully over the last several years into all of these other customer-facing areas. We have the customers and the partners to prove it. Over 15,000 customers and 1,200 partners globally. We've run awards for innovation, and we're only looking to go up from here. So getting on the Scribe online platform would be of best interest to you and to us. So with that, I know you're eager to see Scribe Online in action, so I'm going to pass the baton to Pierre to provide a demonstration. And Pierre, you should have it. Pierre, check your mic. I don't know that we have audio from you.
There we go. Sorry about that.
I can hear you now.
Sound muted. Can you see my screen?
We can.
Can you see my Scribe Online screen?
Absolutely.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you, Robin. Thank you. So today we're going to just kind of walk through a little like the grand tour, if you will, of Scribe Online and how this piece works. One of the things that we're going to be talking about today is kind of using an example of Dynamics GP and Dynamics CRM as our kind of target and source for an integration, and what that kind of template looks like and how that works. But one of the things that you will realize when you start working with Scribe is that we have this, we talk about this marketplace of connectors. And so I'd like to start here usually just to kind of give you a feel for some of the different connectors that are out there in the public already. We just released an intact one here just a couple weeks ago. And so Scribe has a really nice, we call it a connector development kit that allows partners and end users and developers to build out connectors to other applications. And so today we're talking about two specific ones, but we have a growing family of connectors that are also going to be, that are available and will continue to be available. There's many of them right now that are going through our QA process, and as that happens, you'll see even more show up here. It's more show up to the party, as I like to say. The more people that show up to the party, the more fun it is. So it's kind of a neat thing. Having worked with Scribe over the years to see the growth in these connectors is really cool. So anyways, just wanted to start with that, because one of the things that one will do when they're provisioning a GP, it'll be installing this connector. And in order to do that, you just click this little button, click install, and it rolls the connector out there to what's called an agent. So let's start with that. There is an agent that is a little baby piece of software. It's a little 20 meg file that gets installed. It runs as a service on a local machine. That can be installed. So I have an agent that's running, and it's running these different integrations, and it's sitting on a machine in our office. And you can also have cloud-based agents. And the agents, what those guys do is they basically manage the actual integration. That's where the actual integration works. There's no user interface to the agent except through the website. So the Scribe Online client, which is running here in my Chrome web browser, communicates to the agents. One of the coolest things about the agents is that I think is really great is the agents, as you can see these version numbers, Scribe updates the versions all the time. So as we roll out new functions and features, the agents are managed by the Scribe cloud, and so the agent versions get updated as Scribe makes changes. So there's no time or energy after the initial agent is installed of having to go and do upgrades and perform upgrades as an end user. This is something that happens automatically, similar to like a Windows update. It just kind of happens in the background. The agents phone home, if you will. They phone back to the cloud and say, this is my version, and am I current and updated? And it says, nope, you need an update. And so we push updates out to the cloud agents and the on-premise agents every few weeks. So it's kind of cool. So once you have your agents established, then you build out your connections. Connections are what you would imagine they would be. When we're working with Dynamic CRM, the connections are just the URL with a username and password to the specific environment that I'm going to be connecting into. Scribe supports all the different deployment models for Dynamics applications, whether they're online, on-premise, or hosted with a kind of an IFD as a way. And so it's just a username and password. Scribe doesn't connect directly to the database with the Dynamic CRM. We don't even know anything about the database really at this level, what version it is, because different versions that CRM can run on it. It doesn't really matter to us. We're just connecting through a URL as a user. So there's an actual user that we're logging into the system as. And with Dynamics GP, for example, GP has its integration model, and the way that Microsoft has allowing us to work with their API to connect into their application. We connect actually two different ways. We connect into a set of stored procedures that Microsoft provides for developers to connect into, called eConnect, and we connect to those through this connection string, and we also connect to the web services, which is now a new methodology that Microsoft also allows us to get data. So we kind of read data out of through the stored procedures, and we send data over through the web services. That's kind of how this system works. Pretty soon we envision that the database part will probably go away, and it will just be completely web services in the next few versions as CRM or as the Microsoft folks improve the web services. So this is one of the nice things about and what people have grown to love about Scribe actually is these little connectors and adapters in all of our products. We connect right into the applications through the application interface, and so the application behaves, Scribe behaves just like a user would in the system. So when we connect and create data, we're connecting and creating data as a user, and because of that, we're able to we follow all of the business logic that the applications enforce, etc. So it's a nice part for us. So once you have your agents and connections established, then you can go in and build what we call solutions. And so we provide, Scribe actually provides, as Robin was indicating earlier, some templates. And those templates allow us to come in and establish things like a sales order integration. So our template that we have for Scribe Online GP to Dynamic CRM is a sales order integration and a customer integration. So accounts, so we have different solutions. One of the solutions handles this one here, handles the customer integration. So the customers and addresses, and those get updated and inserted in either one. We have different mappings for those. Also the sales order piece, where sales orders come in and out and get created. We can create a Great Plains sales order from a Dynamic CRM sales order. So let me just double click to open up one of these so you can get a sense for what this application looks like in reality. So our mapping is done here through this clever interface. This interface is based around a design called Scratch UI, and Scratch user interface is something that your kids might be using. Actually, I got a little shortcut right here to Scratch UI. This is the Scratch UI from MIT, and it's something that you use your kids. You build out your little program here, and you tell it what to do, your little cat what to do by nesting the nodes and the little operations one underneath another. And so these work as a little stack, and this is how you manage your application and tell it what to do, is by doing all these different functions. And you have your starting functions, and you have your things that you can do, sounds you can play. It's really cool. So this is how you basically are teaching kids how to do this programming by using these little blocks, and so they all work in a very particular order in order to make the little cat move across the thing and make a meow sound and all that stuff. Anyways, so Scribe Online kind of picks up that theme. So this is kind of that was our inspiration for this, was that Scratch UI, is that the blocks all nest inside of each other in a very particular way. And so we're always starting with a query block, or the start block, and that's got this little domey thing on the top. And if I double click on that, I'm getting into the accounts And when I choose my entities, this one obviously is wired into accounts, but it could be wired into any element of CRM. So we pull in all of the objects from the dynamic CRM application. Anything that's standard out of the box or anything that's custom, all of that stuff comes to the Scribe, and you just choose it from here. So we're choosing in this one accounts. We're filtering accounts. We're looking for very specific account types where it's modified by a particular user or doesn't have a customer ID number in it. And it goes out and pulls in the data is what the query is going to do. So it goes out and pulls in all of these customer records, and then it's going to do an update to the customer record in Great Plains. And so on my target over here, my connection to my target, those are in gray, and I have all these different blocks. And so we're going to look up the customer and then update the customer record and the customer address. I double click here on and so the same kind of thing, we're connecting into GP, and then we're seeing all the different customer, well, I'm just choosing customer object here. So I've got customer and customer address. Those are the two different things that are in the scope right now for me. And from the mapping part, I've got my customer in my source over here on the left-hand side, my customer information from out of CRM. And then over here on the right-hand side, I have my contact information or my customer information on my target side. So if I want to map, let's say, the city record to the city field, I just drag this over and drop it onto the screen, just like that. And that's how you move the data from your mapping from one side to the other. Now sometimes, and we put little notes in here, little helper notes, we've made some assumptions that might be a little different. This is why it's a template. So you're able to add additional logic into here. So this is a mapping here for the account category code, for example. So in some GP installations, the account category code determines things like your credit limit and all of those types of things and the behaviors in that. So you might wire that up to the field in Dynamic CRM, and so this is dynamically wired in there. And so there's just an assumption we're always going to use type 5, but that's telling you could have your own formulas if you want. Again, this is a template. We leave helper kind of information in the mappings for you. So this is how you do your mappings at the field level from object to object. It's just this drag and drop, and then if there's any kind of unique changes that you need to make or fields that you need to fill in specifically, you just manage it through that level, and through getting right into the formulas themselves, you can go in. And Scribe has a library of functions to build these formulas out. So we've got about in here about 75 different functions that you can use in order to manipulate the data going into your targets. So that is how the field level mapping works. And you can perform lots of different types of logic. This is a very straightforward one where you got accounts and then we're just updating customers, so that's a pretty straightforward one. But if we're doing something more sophisticated, let's say like sales orders, so a sales order that goes from CRM, let's say here, to GP, there might be some different logic you've got to have. We have some more sophisticated parts of this. The sales order might have to create a new customer record prior to going in. So there's this nested portion here. Come on. There we go. You have this nesting that occurs in here that might have to look up the data, and you can imagine all the different things in your business logic that you need to do to manage a complex sales order, where you got to check to see if the customer exists, and if it doesn't, create the customer before you create the sales order. And then when you create the actual sales order, you have the sales order header, but you have to loop through. That's what this little loopy thing is for. You have to loop through the actual sales order lines themselves. So you've got sales order lines that have to be created for each one of them. And if there's an error, you've got to be able to have an error loop in there. So, you have a very, something like this, a pretty sophisticated set of logic that that something like this can handle. It has to handle this very kind of sophisticated logic, just kind of give you a sense for what we're doing in here. So Scribe can handle a very, very complex and sophisticated set of business logic. Don't be fooled that we base this based on how to manipulate a cat. We're doing some pretty complex stuff in here, and we're doing it very quickly. And with that said, we want to open it up to questions. Just before we leave, though, I wanted to highlight two other things. One is I have access to this through an account. And so I logged into here as a user with a username and password, and I was invited to this particular integration. I can be invited to many other organizations. So I am able to, and here's all the other organizations that I can access, and I can tell the system whether to send me a notification on whether that fails or not. So as a user of the system, I'm able to control the notification level that I receive, and I get an email in there if a record fails to go in or some sort of connection gets installed or uninstalled. As it's a website, I don't have to log into any of these remote systems. I can just connect right in to an integration right from here. So this is another integration that's running on another system that's integrating GP to some folks we've got a team out at the Salesforce conference this week, and they're using this particular one. So that all of this integration and these agents sit on other systems, but I am still able, because I'm a member of here, to be able to go in here and look at this. And kind of the nice thing about team play and teamwork when it comes to building out integrations is, because the connection information is separate from the actual mappings itself, if we have if I'm, let's say, the SQL administrator in here, I can go in and just change the password, go in and change my password or change the credentials that this logs in as. And if I have rights to do that, I can. I don't have to, when that occurs, go back into any of the solutions and change anything with any of my mappings. I can just go into the connections, make my change, and we're done. And so that's one of the nice areas about working together as a team on these types of integrations, where everybody handles different parts of this. Somebody might be the expert in the CRM part, somebody's good at the GP part, and you're able to work together in order to do that. So I think that is cool. Kind of a new thing for Scribe in the way that we've architected this type of environment where it's member driven and user driven. So it's kind of cool. So, all right, with that, let's open it up for questions.
Hang on 1 second here. We've got a couple slides, and then we'll go to back to the Q&A. All right, so just some highlights to remember about Scribe Online that you just saw with Pierre's demonstration. We do have the opportunity for both cloud-based and premise-based options. The nice thing about the premise-based agent is for reaching into a system that's installed locally. You put the agent down behind the firewall. All the processing happens behind your firewall. Obviously, the intuitive visual design, this is something really innovative. We're very proud of this. It really enables people to not only build out these integrations and have this visual process editor initially, so it makes it easier in the front side, but later it makes it easier as people come in and are looking to see what their forefathers, if you will, did before them. It's much easier to trace somebody's intent and what the design plan was with this type of an interface. Scalable multi-tenant architecture. If you're a partner looking to manage multiple customers, doing so from a single login is beneficial. If you're a customer looking to manage different deploys, you can do that as well. The fact that it's collaborative and allows you to invite in to your integration a number of people that might have a vested interest in only a part of it, whether it's Scribe support or partners to help you, or an ISV with a particular connector. You're able to have the right people in your integrations as needed. The Connector Developer Kit is available to build out connectors, whether you are an ISV looking to build a connector to your particular platform, a partner who's looking to build a connector either for a market that you serve or for a particular customer's requirements. It's fully documented. .NET developer can build out a connector pretty quickly. The marketplace that we have of connectors and solutions is ever growing. I mentioned earlier we have 18 connectors in market to date. we will have at least that many added next year. I think the previous 10 years with our Insight product, we were able to build, maintain, and support no more than 10 at any time. And this platform and the CDK really enabled us to scale, to open up the boundaries, not only the boundaries of what we can develop and support, but what ISVs and resellers can, and to provide a marketplace for sharing that IP as appropriate. It's secure, it's encrypted, it's fast, and allows you to really have the access to this world-class data integration platform, whether you're a small company or a large enterprise. And as you buy your subscription, you have access to all of these connectors as they come to market, so a growing platform for your growing business and changing needs. So there are a variety of places you can go to learn more. If you would like to read that State of Data Integration Report, you can do that at scribesoft.com. SDI 2013, gives you lots of details of what folks in the community find about data integration. We have a free trial, 15-day trial of Scribe Online. You can spin that up by going to scribesoft.com/online-trial. We also have a customer success engineer on staff who can help you get that trial rolling and connected. So let us help if you'd like some access to assistance. Give us a buzz at sales at scribesoft.com, and we're happy to help you with that as well. Now, we will go to questions. Let me go ahead and open the questions window. If you have been typing them in, we're going to get those addressed now. If you haven't, feel free to go ahead and type questions into this questions box on the right-hand side. Okay. Does the premise-based solution have the same interface for managing connections and solutions? How can you, okay. No, it does have a different interface. The premise-based solution was released initially in 1997. It does have the opportunity to make connections and to point and click the way to configure an integration, but it does not have the same UI, puzzle-based UI that you see with Scribe Online. Also, Scribe Insight, which is our premise-based solution, versus Scribe Online, have different sets of connectors or adapters, as we call them on Insight, that are available to them. So a lot of times, your use case, your connectivity, your platform requirements are going to dictate the direction of product that you would go. We also have the ability for Scribe Online and Scribe Insight to be interoperable. There's an Insight connector available on the Scribe Online platform. So if you have need of one of the adapters that exists in Scribe Insight, or you're a Scribe Insight customer and have need of some of the new connectivity options that are available in Scribe Online, you can marry the two together by using the Insight connector. I hope I answered that question. If you have a follow-on to that, please go ahead and type that in. Pierre, did you have anything to add to that question?
Nope, you got it.
All right.
You got it.
How can you use Scribe for integration between dynamic CRM and custom line of business web application? Pierre?
Yeah, so one of the cool things that we did with Scribe Online is manage to build out a whole API method and a connector development kit. So Scribe Online has the ability to write custom connectors, and you can open up an application and build it in Visual Studio and deploy it as either a private connector or sell it on the marketplace as a public connector. So you can develop line of business applications, and the connections for the different ways that you can get into apps are varied. So we support things like REST APIs and SQL, OData. There's lots of different methods that we can get data in and out of a connector. So we have a connector development kit that's available, and you can read through that, and there's sample projects in there too. So.
Thank you, Pierre.
Cool.
There's a question, does Insight have built-in templates and connections for GP? Short answer is yes. Again, I mentioned earlier that when we're talking about your requirements, we need to learn more about what is specifically that you need to do. For example, Scribe Online, the GP connector supports GP 2013. If you have less than GP 2013, you're going to need to use Scribe Insight. We do have an adapter for GP for the Scribe Insight platform that leverages eConnect for the API, and we do have integration templates similar to some of the mappings that you saw today in Scribe Online, where we support the sales order integration process between Dynamics CRM and GP. Those templates are typically considered starting points. They can be used in whole or in part. They're free download, and you can get started with that. But the real benefit to using either Insight or Scribe Online, of course, and this is going to go to another question I see coming up, is that outside of those initial requirements, so those template requirements, the ability to configure for your specific requirements, again, is within the interface and does not require programming. What is the pricing for Scribe Online? Pricing for Scribe Online depends on, again, your usage. We have, for small businesses, starting as low as $279 per month, which would allow for up to 1.5 million rows transacted over an annual contract. If you have higher data volumes than that, we have for $3.99 a month up to 3 million rows annually. So we want to talk to you a little bit about the size of your database, the net change, what would change and what would be transacted regularly, so we can get a feel for the volume that you would use and would put you into the tier that would support that requirement. And then the system does monitor your usage. So right within the Scribe Online interface, you can see where you are against your annual contract, the percent of usage. Those reports, of course, come to us as well, where if we saw, you purchased the tier that allowed up to 3 million rows annually, and in the first 3 months you were at 2 million rows, we know you're on track to really need to be at a higher tier, and would get you upgraded to the appropriate tier. Further, we also have short-term migration licenses available on the platform that have unlimited rows. And this really helps for that initial data synchronization where you're really truing up a couple of systems and there's high data volumes. You're running it multiple times. This is where folks have gotten into trouble over contract, is in the first couple of months. So you can add to your annual subscription, you can add a 2-month subscription that unlocks the row count, really opens it up for you to be able to do that initial data load, and then doesn't disrupt your annual usage. It keeps that more on target to be accurate. Again, any follow-on questions to these answers, please go ahead and type them in. What advantages would you say this system has versus the Dynamics connector when integrating Dynamics AX to Dynamics CRM? I'll start this one and then let Pierre chime in. Again, depending on the version of AX that you're using, we have 2 different AX template solutions. And one uses our AX adapter, and this is for AX 2009. The other, AX 2012, we use what we call the Jumpstart and use web services. We initially had rolled out the Scribe AX CRM integration with AX 2009 with our adapter and templatization. And this really allowed, again, for that out-of-the-box integration that's quite similar to the AX connector. We did hear back from a number of AX customers and AX partners that they wanted the ability to develop in the AX platform as they do, so using web services. So we took that route with AX 2012 so that the AX experts could really get in and spin up a web service as needed. The general advantage to Scribe platforms versus the AX connector from Microsoft is going to be the platform itself, the ability to extend beyond just that initial requirement of CRM and AX, and the simplicity with which you can do that. I think there's probably some more specific things, and I'm going to let Pierre address those.
Yeah, I think on the overall is the experience that folks have with the platform and the way that Scribe, after having been around for as long as we have, we've learned a lot of things around improving the reliability of an integration in the way that integrations work between web service-based applications. And Scribe is, without getting too technical, Scribe reduces the, let's say, stateful connections required, which are kind of the handshaking that happens between web applications. So we reduce that tremendously, which makes our integration much more reliable. And when you're dealing with an application like an AX, where the web service is so dependent on speed and making sure things happen in a timely manner, our customers that have moved over from running the free Microsoft one, that's one of the experiences that they talk about, which is reliability of that connection. And so, it's just, theirs is a little newer, so it just hasn't learned as many lessons maybe as we have over the years. So.
Here's another one. Does Scribe Online connect to Dynamics AX 2009 or only AX 2012? Well, let's be clear. AX connectors from Scribe are actually for our Scribe Insight platform. So both Insight can connect to both AX 2009 and AX 2012, and we take two different approaches. But we do not have an AX connector at present for Scribe Online. Now, depending on your requirement, typically the rule of thumb here for us when we're talking with customers, if you have a requirement to pull data from AX and push it into Dynamics CRM, you can make a SQL connection and pull that data just fine. You could do that with Scribe Online or Scribe Insight. If you want to push data back into AX, you want to do that through a sanctioned API or mechanism. You really want the benefit of an adapter or a connector. So depending on your use case, it may be that using Insight for AX integration makes the most sense. Pierre, anything to add?
Nope, I think you got it. That's actually right. I would just add that there's been several releases of AX 2012 in the last 2 years, R2 and R3, and Scribe works to support both those iterations. So.
Okay. Follow-on question. How does Scribe Online work with QuickBooks desktop version? Pierre, can you speak to that?
QuickBooks Desktop is a really neat story, and you might want to follow up and look. We have several recorded webinars just on that particular integration, but we have a really neat solution that has a small little applet that runs just very similar to the agent. And so there's a small installation on the QuickBooks machine inside of your network. And then just like I showed, we have a very similar set of maps that integrates sales orders and invoice and customer data back and forth between QuickBooks and other applications, so like Salesforce or Dynamics CRM. And we've had that out, I don't know, so we came out with that just a little before the 4th of July. So like in June, wasn't it June or July or something we came out with?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really I would just say, is one of the coolest things I think that we've done in a long time, because in one fell swoop, one of the big challenges, and here's a little bit of Scribe inside baseball. One of the biggest challenges with QuickBooks is not that QuickBooks is super complex to integrate with. It's the problem with QuickBooks is there's a billion different versions of QuickBooks, right? There's all of these different like QuickBooks 2000 that are still supported and used by the community. So our challenge has never been writing a integration with a single version of QuickBooks. It's been writing a integration solution that supports 10 different versions of QuickBooks in different languages. It's just that's been the complexity, and so we solved that problem this year with what we call a desktop connector, and in that you choose which particular version of QuickBooks you have. So we support a huge list now of all of the different iterations of QuickBooks, and so it's very exciting. It's a cool solution, something that's been a long time coming. I know we worked on it for quite some time, and it's a neat solution.
So Pierre, of course, there's a follow-on to that of which versions of QuickBooks. I don't have them committed to memory, so we can send a follow-on.
I don't either. It's a long list.
Romeo, we'll get that information in the follow-up.
I know we just added support for the English version from England. We support the UK version that just got added here a couple of weeks ago. So, I mean, it's crazy actually, that long list. It's just that's their business model.
All right, so we'll certainly take that as a follow-up, and if anyone else has interest in that question, just ping us here, and we'll make sure you get that information as well. All right, last call. Any more questions? A good list of questions here today, guys. I appreciate your taking the time, and certainly we're available to you offline as well to further your inquiry and exploration of Scribe. As I said, there's free trial available at scribesoft.com/online-trial, or if you're looking, if you're specifically interested in AX integration and want to explore Scribe Insight, we'll get you in touch with the right folks here who can help you with that evaluation as well. As always, sales@scribesoft.com for follow-up questions. And it looks like that's it for today. I appreciate your taking the time to join us. And until next time, thanks so much.